Hello and good evening. Today I want to share with you about the most controversial thing that people have been speaking about recently. The world is battling a serious pandemic. This is something that many people have never imagined all their life, that there can come a time when people don't go outside, when the economy is in serious crisis. Political, socio-economic welfare of everybody is affected. The spiritual, the churches, businesses, including even hotels. Many of hotels have closed, especially in Mombasa. Many businesses have closed down. People have gone home. People have lost jobs. Too many people don't even realize that all this is happening because it's happening in the backdrop, unless if you are affected or infected. The most funny bit, me being a victim. Recently, I went on holiday to Meru with my family, and unfortunately, I had already contracted coronavirus somewhere in Chuka in Meru. I didn't know that I had contracted it. I stayed with it for about a week. I was feeling sick, I was feeling unwell, but I had not known that already I was a victim. I continued on. I don't know how many other people that I also infected, but it got me down while in Meru with my family, with my wife and kid. It wasn't easy. Unfortunately, where I come from in Tharaka, health is a big issue. There are no proper hospitals, there are no proper medication. So I went to a nearby hospital with my wife and kid, and I was misdiagnosed. I was given the wrong medicine for the wrong disease. I had coronavirus. But because there are no proper equipment even to do the test, there was not even a single telescope even to do the normal malaria test. Very, very unfortunate. The government hospitals, you cannot go there. It is a no-go zone. In Tharaka Nithi County, there are no hospitals. The few hospitals that we have, like there's one private good one, is far, far away from my place. The other ones are in Meru County. It's very unfortunate. So when I went to these hospitals, actually I went to a missionary hospital. I was misdiagnosed. Not that they wanted, but there was no one even to tell. I don't think even they have that experience with corona themselves. So I stayed. I felt, no, I'm not recovering. One of the worst bit about coronavirus is this last strand. I don't understand the strand, the strain, but I know, I'm told it's about the strain, the strand. I'm not a medic, but I know there is this new strain that is here, the new coronavirus that has affected so many people right now. It is coming in a very different way. I never even had an headache. I never had temperatures above 35 degrees Celsius. The only thing that I had was one, the stomach. I had a bloated, there was a serious problem with my stomach. That one I realized. Then number two, my breathing system. I could feel, because there was a funny cough that goes with coronavirus. You cough funnily. There's a very funny cough that goes with it. Then fever. Then sweating. I was sweating like I was every time in a flood of water, because you sweat a lot. My temperatures were normal, 35, 36, 34, and I was in Tharaka. But I'm telling you, the sweat and then the fever. I could feel like going to stay in the sun. So I mistook this for malaria or maybe some other, or dengue fever. So when I went to the hospital, I was given other medicines, but they said it's not malaria. So I could not recover. I felt, no, I'm dying. So we had to cut short our holiday and come back to Mombasa. Luckily, the same day that I arrived in Mombasa, the following day in the morning, I was in hospital. I went to Mombasa Hospital. Mombasa Hospital, the CT scan was also broken, but Mombasa Hospital and Mombasa, they are good hospitals. So they referred me to Aga Khan. The moment I went to Aga Khan and I was gotten into a CT scan, because one thing about the CT scan, according to the doctors, is it is able to realize if you have COVID pneumonia very fast. Within the moment you're put into the CT scan, by the time you're out, they're able to realize. The gauge was 18 out of 25 or something like that. And I was 18 out of 25. I don't know what that means, but it was that high. I already was diagnosed with COVID pneumonia, which means I had COVID already. Luckily, my family also got tested. Immediately they panicked. My daughter and my wife, they went for a test. They were negative. So the doctors were now preparing me to go into isolation centers. But I could not stand that. I knew I would die. So I asked the doctor, what is the use of me? You've given me medicine. What am I going to do in an isolation center again? I self-isolate myself. I pick a room in my house. I make it my isolation center. I'll be careful with my family. They agreed. They gave me a load of medicine. A load of medicine. It was not even about the load of medicine, but the moment that I got diagnosed, the stigma. You first start refusing, people start fearing you. Even the doctors now start running away from you, and the nurses. They also fear death. Death is feared. So things changed from the moment the CT scan diagnosed me with that COVID pneumonia. Things started changing. People started behaving differently. I was in the same hospital with the same people seated together. But the moment they saw the results, even the doctor who was giving me the results, he was giving through a window with his mask on and stuff like that. So the problem with COVID-1 is when you get diagnosed with it, there's a lot of stigma. People start fearing you. People treating you differently, as though you're already dead or you will die. People don't believe that people even recover from COVID. And that's why even some of the people who have it will not even disclose that they have it. The other problem is, immediately now you get COVID. I saw the Meru governor giving his experience. People are just joking. The experience, the coronavirus experience, cannot be shared ultimately. You cannot realize unless you're sick or unless you've been affected or infected. And actually, unless you've been infected, you will not know what is coronavirus. It's a whole experience in itself. Those 14 days, 30 days, whatever days that people stay in isolation, like the governor was saying, it is not as a joke. It is a matter of life and death. And you know the problem is, as you are lying down there, one moment you're okay, the other moment you're feeling like there's spasm. You feel like there are jerks, like you're being switched off. Like you can even sleep and not wake up again. Corona is switching off people. While you are asleep, you just go. You might not even wake up. That is the worst bit about it. You stay in fear. You continue now nursing corona in fear because you don't want even to sleep, because you don't know whether if you sleep whether you'll wake up. And the truth is, you realize and you feel it yourself that you're dying. You're in the this moment you're on this side, then the other moment you could be in the other side. So it is about you and your God. You start a journey of reflection. The good thing about coronavirus is it gives you time, personal time, that the governor was saying, with God and yourself. A time to reflect, a time to be alone, a time again to realize what life is all about. You see, it's also a challenge. That is when you realize how thin the line between life and death is. How unimportant many things in life could be. Money, relationships, all these things. You might have a lot of wealth, but let me tell you, when corona catches you, when you get infected with corona, it's not about money. It is a matter of life. Your life lies with God only, solely. Not even with the medicine. Because like me, I was very lucky. I never went into oxygen support and stuff like that. My oxygen levels were okay. But there are people, the moment that you're diagnosed like that, some only realize when the oxygen levels. It also depends, like I'm telling you, from one individual to another. It also depends with you, the strength, the immunity of your body. Because like me, I lost 10 kilos. It's not easy. Within a week, I lost 10 kilos. It was not easy. Another thing that is damning is depression. You go into depression. That is when you realize you are alone. Nothing matters in life. And let me tell you, corona is affecting your brain. It's affecting your thinking. Even when you recover, even when you are ill, the brain, I'm realizing it is affecting the way you're thinking. It is also affecting you, sink into depression. If you're not careful, if you're not strong enough spiritually, you go. Not only going, you collapse, you get depressed. The first 2 days when I was in my bed, I got depressed. I was alone. Yes, my family was there, but they were not enough. That is when I realized how desperate life is. You need people. You might have all the wealth, you might have all the money. I went to hospital. My wife supported me. And the medicine, the treatment, it is expensive to treat corona because even the CT scans are very expensive. The medicine itself is very expensive. But let me tell you, it's not about money. There are people even who go into oxygen support, who go to big hospitals, and they have the money, but it is not about the money. It is, sometimes it is about the people that you interact with. The people that you interact with. You need people in your life. You need God above everything else, because it's not about medicine. It's not about medicine. People are going into the hospital. They get diagnosed with corona and they get sick, and they have money and they die. Senior doctors, people with money. But one bad thing is when you go into isolation, you realize that it's like you're in jail. It's like you're alone again. So what happens? You get depressed. You start getting depressed. If you're not careful, you completely go into depression. You may not recover. And what I realized, 1 or 2 days, what helped me is internet. I went into internet. I started chatting my friends on WhatsApp, start calling people. I started talking to people wherever they were, and I was honest. I also told them, okay, now I need you. Can I talk to you? I am feeling like this and this. I opened up to people, and people are good. When you open up to them, they come back. Some don't judge people. People are good. They are good. They are bad. But people are like that. But when you open up to people, people have a heart. They'll also look at your situation. People will come and support you. And they will listen to you. Some will even talk to you. I had a lot of people speaking to me and also encouraging me and telling me it will be well. But it was over the internet. People even very far away, some people abroad and other places, but it worked. But now the biggest problem, if you close yourself, if you don't open up, then it becomes a disaster. Other things, corona, the moment you get corona, also it switches off your engine. You start getting other issues, health issues. It is switches. The governor might not is a Meru elder, is a Njorin Cheke elder, might not delve into that. But there are many side effects. When corona comes, it switches off very many other things. Like I told you, some get the headache, some don't get the headache, some get temperatures. But one thing I've realized, the thing about temperatures, 37 and above, it's not working. Many people don't have that temperature. The day I went into the hospital, they took in the temperatures. I washed my hands like normal, and I went in without no one even realizing until the CT scan. Actually, it is the CT scan that showed that I had corona. But before that, no one would have known. So I am doing this so that at least I can encourage you and tell you it's not the end. When you get corona, just when you get diagnosed, accept. The first step is to accept. You have to accept that you're sick, and this is sickness like any other. And let me tell you that it is not within your means to heal yourself, that you're dependent on God. And when you know this, and when you believe that you're dependent on God, then God will help you very quickly and very fast.